I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. "Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends." I saw him walking toward me, flickering in and out of several directions. "You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others." When he grabbed me and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed, grinning face, I woke up with a fright. For a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to. I had to figure out why this was happening, so I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. Still thought it was wacky playing as Robotnik. But anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. This time I was in some sort of hallway. It didn't really look like it was from any classic Sonic games, though it has a pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered, the walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candlelights and a few dark bloodstains here and there. There was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly, but whenever you're playing the game, you barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant, piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he was just being paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turns his head to the left and then to the right at least twice and then shrugs at me, as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, you know, when you've beaten him at the end of the classic Sonic game and you chase him, as we continue going through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous, even seeing Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was much longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs down. This one was much longer, took at least a full minute. Then I heard that horrid Kefka laugh again, and then the music started fading until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were of black flame now. When Robotnik landed on the third hallway, I noticed he was really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly Sonic popped right in front of us, and Robotnik the same way he did Knuckles, and then red static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then showed me a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic Sonic standing in the darkness, where you could only see his face with his head and torso faded to black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean like he looked so real, you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face, God, he had the most horrifying smile I'd ever seen. That's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes were wide and black, once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic. And there were two small, glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs, very sharp fangs. Much like the werewolf's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs, as if he ate some animal. I stared at that gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off of it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face. It just takes 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered with red static again, 3 times, and on the 3rd time I heard the Kefka laugh, except this time it sounded more distorted, demonic even. Went back to the image again, except this time there was the text again, though it was messed up, but it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked at ahead in this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized right there and then. Sonic was a monster, a pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster, and all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys, and the game is the very gateway to his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped. It showed nothing but black screen. As I sat there, staring at the black screen, one last text came up. "Ready for round 2, Tom?" The Kefka laugh, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu. And this time, the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened. His glasses broke and blood is coming from them, and he had a more dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they were going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by what horrid hedgehog and always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play this game in more ways than one, and when he gets bored, he drags you into the game, literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. "Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom." I turned around to see where the voice was coming from, and what it made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling with bloodstains under its eyes.